Have you guys ever heard of a bank not wanting to do business with a billionaire? A bank saying, whoa, 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 you want to put hundreds of millions of dollars into our bank? Can't have that. Are you actually going to believe that banks looked at Donald Trump and said, we don't want your business because of who he is? Or do you think banks looked at Donald Trump and said, we don't want your business because of what you do? Trump says major U.S. banks discriminated against me as White House preps debanking executive order. Debanking is back in the spotlight this week after President Trump said Tuesday that the country's two largest banks, U.S. banks, J.P. Morgan Chase and Bank of America, denied him as a customer. The banks discriminated against me very badly, and I was very good to those banks, Trump said on CNBC's Squawk Box, adding that they discriminate against many conservatives. For years, Republicans have claimed that U.S. banks have denied accounts to certain customers for political reasons, as have some Democrats. Crypto companies have warned more recently that they weren't permitted to get banking services during the Biden era. I had hundreds of millions. I had many, many accounts loaded up with cash. I was loaded up with cash, and they told me, I'm sorry, sir, we can't have you. You have 20 days to get out, Trump said of his experience losing bank accounts with J.P. Morgan Chase. The president said he then went to Bank of America to deposit $1 billion+ and was similarly denied. He said, we can't do it, Trump told Squawk Box in reference to Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan. The president pointed to pressure on banks from Washington, D.C. regulators as a key reason why he and others were denied banking services. I ended up going to small banks all over the place, Trump added. The president's comments came in response to a Wall Street Journal report late Monday stating that the White House is prepping to draft a related executive order around debanking that would fine banks found discriminating against customers on political grounds. Bank of America did not offer a response to Trump's comments. We don't close accounts for political reasons, and we agree with President Trump that regulatory change is desperately needed. We commend the White House for addressing this issue and look forward to working with them to get this right, a J.P. Morgan spokesperson said in emailed comments. Both of these giant lenders and their CEOs have denied debanking customers on political grounds. Trump first brought visibility to the banking issue in January when he confronted Bank of America's Brian Moynihan about it during a live Q&A at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. I hope you start opening your bank to conservatives, Trump told Moynihan. The president also appeared to include J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon in his confrontation. I don't know if the regulators mandated that because of Biden or what, but you and Jamie and everyone else, I hope you open your banks and to conservatives because what you're doing is wrong, Trump added. 2 months later, the Trump Organization sued major credit card lender Capital One for allegedly debanking hundreds of its accounts following the Jan 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. Bank regulators have already eliminated one element in supervision that has been pointed to as a culprit of debanking, known as reputational risk. Critics said this element of supervision was previously too subjective, allowing regulators additional room to penalize lenders for taking on customers they deemed risky. So who here is buying that bullshit? Who here is buying that J.P. Morgan Chase and Bank of America didn't want Donald Trump to deposit hundreds of millions of dollars in cash into their banks? If you believe that bullshit, I got some swampland to sell you. And the sad part about it is that we all know why Donald Trump couldn't get banks in the United States to do business with him, because he's a fucking fraud. That's why he had to go to Russian oligarchs. He didn't go to fucking small banks everywhere. He went to Russian oligarchs. He went to Deutsche Bank. He went to foreign banks because they were willing to work with him, because he was willing to work with them. Money laundering, evasion, fraud, things of that nature. American banks didn't want any fucking part of that. But that's discrimination in Donald Trump's land, in his world, in his mind. There has never been a bank in the history of fucking forever that has said, you want to deposit $1 billion into my bank? Can't have that. Don't want that kind of business.